His name is Kalman, one of my most brilliant students. He was quick in his conclusions, clear in his exposition. He designed intelligence tests. I initiated him into the study of logical theories. He was meticulous to the point of obsession. He marked the tests himself, one by one, and discovered something really curious. Some of the tests were perfect. The majority had a few mistakes, but there was a third group. The answers were absurd, incomprehensible, illogical, random, the sort of thing that a lunatic would write. Kalman interviewed the pupils of this third category. The answers that he had considered absurd were, in fact, another possible solution and perfectly valid to continue the series, only with an infinitely more complex justification. The intelligence of these pupils went beyond the conventional solution and was much more far-reaching. It was then that I had to break the bad news to him.
Wittgenstein paradox concerning finite rules.
Kalman found in practice what Wittgenstein discovered decades before. The series 248 would obviously be followed by 16, but also by 10, or 7004. It's always possible to find a rule, a justification, which allows a series to be continued by any number. It all depends on how complicated the rule is. Suddenly he realized that he couldn't even trust the 2 times table. His whole life was being sucked into a whirlpool of meaningless numbers. Normal thought seems to be guided by certain grooves etched into our brain, which impede our leaving that track and jumping it like the chosen few who are able to think without limitations. Kalman decided to take a strange path. He began to try out his tests in psychiatric hospitals on lobotomized patients. There was a remarkable similarity between those symbols and the results of the tests of the highly gifted subjects. He was in the presence of pure thought, without grooves, but he couldn't understand it. The problem was his own brain. He saw everything from the outside. To understand those symbols, he had to see them from the inside. There was only one way of achieving it: to erase the grooves. The idea might seem grotesque, but not to a person who has been told that he is suffering from terminal cancer. His bones were rotting like wood infested with woodworm. All he had to look forward to was the amputation of his limbs, one by one. He was euphoric. He laughed nervously like someone about to discover something incredible who can't contain his joy. It was then that I realized that my friend had gone completely mad. He wanted to lobotomize himself. His only problem was how to ensure that the brain damage was not excessive. He had to perforate the skull and reach the brain with something like a small harpoon. He asked for my help, and I refused, although I did promise I would try to collect the messages he wrote from the other side. He used a nail gun.
What does he write?
Symbols are becoming more and more illegible. All this time, he's never drawn a logical symbol or a number.
So what are they then?
4 letters that he repeats over and over. A woman's name.
Any one of our acts can have unexpected consequences. That's what you most feared.
This is the largest collection of fakes in the world. Not even Michelangelo can distinguish this David from his original. Trajan's column we believe to be in Rome. But we are sure that this is a common plaster copy. I feel at ease here. No one tries to deceive me. In effect, Martin, this is the place that contains the most truth in the entire planet. We have an absolute truth. Everything is fake. Outside of these walls, nobody is sure of anything.